Hello. Yay. I haven't been live for a few days. Can you guys see me? Can you hear me? Hello, I'm still Melly. Hi. Hi. Wow, I missed you all. Man, I miss being live. When life hands you good things and you take advantage of them, you know, you miss out on other good things. And can you guys see me and hear me, or am I just rambling? We're going to have a good night tonight. It's going to be a good night tonight. We're going to get down and dirty too. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation about the fuckery on YouTube. Can we? Little disclaimer. Hi, welcome. My name is Melly. We're talking true crime, but we're going to have a little family conversation today. Coming in hot. What's up? I miss being live. Oh, love it. Can you guys see me and hear me? Let me know. Mods, shout out to my mods. First of all, I just want to say a disclaimer. I love my mods. They're my friends. I don't unmod anyone unless there's a reason. Therefore, please be respectful to my mods. And I love my mods. They're here to help me, and they're my friends as much as they're my mods. And take that for how you want. So I will not allow any disrespect to my mods ever. And shout out to you, my mods, for being such great mods and friends. Yay! Yay! Okay, let me say hi to everyone. I haven't been live in like 3 days. Girls and boys, I've been busy. A busy girl. Busy girl. I see Lily Laura. Hi, Lily. I see Funky. What's up, Funky? I see Fam. I'm glad you jumped in. Oh, I'm sorry you have to miss it, Fam. Love you, though. Hey, John. John's always here being supportive. Beautiful Tipsy. Hello, Tipsy. Juicer. Hi. Gracie. Do your thing. Yeah. Right, Gracie. I think I saw beautiful Sarah. Hello. Oh, Tipsy. Thank you for gifting. Who got it? Let me check. Let me approve of the gift. No, just kidding. Oh, Funky. Funky got it. I'm like, let me make sure it's not some weird in the bushes. Hello. Welcome. My name is Melly. We're covering true crime tonight. Shout out to all the mods, the viewers, the replay viewers, the haters watching my channel, because clearly it's a thing. We're going to touch on that, but I'm blessed and enjoy it. Enjoy it for what it is. Nightbot, I have Nightbot going. So if Nightbot gets a little rogue, let me know and I'll cancel that shit. Hey, y'all saying good to see you. Y'all like, shit, we're going to leave this live because it's already too much. Hey, Amanda, good to see you. Yay. I'm glad we're Funky. Shut up. Hello, Cole. Rogue Knight. Melly's going rogue and Nightbot is going rogue. Hi, Augie. Beautiful Augie. Hello. Happy Saturday. I know I came in hot. Disclaimer before we start my live today on Mercedes Vega, I just want you guys all to know, when you come here and watch my channel, I want you guys to know that I'm ethical and I'm original. So I don't ever I cover cases that are well known, but I also come up with ideas on my own. So let's touch back to 𝗟𝗵𝗃𝗃 phone calls. Yes, I made a live. We are going to be covering her phone calls. I got them. I paid for them. And like 2 days after I went live on that, other creators were like, we're going to do the same thing. And like, yes, I did, Cole. I saw the last case. Anyways, long story short is I want you guys to be here on my channel watching my stuff because of who I am. I will never come on here and ask for money. I will never take anyone's content. I come up with original ideas and content of my own. 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 case. I have recently just become disgusted with like the YouTube like ethics. I feel like some creators just run with what other people are doing, and I'm just not into that. Like, yeah. Well, and you know, I know phone calls from prison, who I'm mod for, has a lot of the calls, but my point is don't be supporting creators that take content from other creators. Just even the idea, like so there's a creator that I loved truly and was my good friend. And the minute I talked about 𝗟𝗵𝗃𝗃, it was like the next day she went live saying she was going to do the same thing. That's fine. It's a big case. I get it. But like, be original, right? And so that's what my channel is about. So I want everyone here to be ethical, friendly, kind. I would never ask my mods to do my research for me. I do all my research for myself. I pay for all the content myself. I do it all myself. So with that being said, let's get started. We are going to be talking about Mercedes Vega today. Yes, Gracie, you're right. Plunder and Docket are legit though. Other creators, not so much. And you can have, anyone can have their own opinion about it. I'm just saying, I will always come here with my own research, and I do all my work for myself. I don't have my other mods doing it. No one is original, right? But with that being said, I do my research by myself. I don't have my mods do it. I do all my lives by myself. I work full-time in healthcare. And so you can defend who you want and support who you want. But I do everything by myself. So Cole says some of us can't listen to others or refuse to get bullied in the chat. I'm just saying. Oh yeah, I love 𝗟𝗠. I've actually been in contact with 𝗟𝗠. And that's not what I'm saying. There's other creators. Just be careful who you support. That's all I'm saying. And with me, you know, you're not gonna get any bullshit. I don't bullshit here. I'm here for true crime. I'm not here for the money. I'm not here for anything else. So I just love true crime. That's it. And I do everything myself. And I pay for things myself. Anyways, enough of me ranting. I know I've been gone for 3 days. I've been blessed in my life. So blessed. And so I've recently had an opportunity that I couldn't pass up on, and which has made me a little absent from my channel, but it's been worked around. We'll be live more frequently. Well said. Thank you, 𝗟𝗄𝗃. And I'm not here to talk shit on anyone. I'm just saying, be careful who you support. Not everyone is who they say they are. With me, you're gonna get it all. My life is not for anyone to talk about. That's for me to talk about when I'm ready to talk about it. You can support whoever the fuck you want, but I'm not here for the bullshit. I'm just here for the true crime. Let's move on. Mercedes Vega. Have you guys heard about this case? I'm like, let me cut this live already. I'm already in trouble. People are like, bye. That's fine. Do what you want. I respect it. Amen. We're going to cover Mercedes Vega case today. Many creators have covered this, but none that are my friends have covered this. So with that being said, let's get started. Let me pull up. So today, we're going to review a PowerPoint, some a video from Law and Crime, and then we're going to read an affidavit, and we're going to go from there. Yes, Lily. Hello. Original's dead. Well, not really, Gracie. You might be hanging around the wrong people. Original's not dead. There's way things go about it. Grizzly has her own way. Docket has his own manner. Other people, not so much. And I don't pay any of my mods to do my research. I do all of it by myself. And I think that speaks for itself, right? I'm not here just for the money and for the subscribers. I'm here for the true crime. And I would never expect any of my mods to do any of my research. And I come on here and be like, I know all about this case, but I didn't do any of the research. Nah, that's not the case with me. Anyways, let's get started. Let me know. It's going to be a little all over the place. I know I'm all over the place. We're going to cover Mercedes Vega. Like I said, I'm going to show her PowerPoint, get a little back story on her. So with that being said, bigger creators that we don't know personally have covered this case, and then me. So let's start off. Let me pull up. This is Mercedes Vega on the screen. Well, yay, Augie. I'm glad you haven't heard of it. So I'm introducing you to it. Let's get started. Mercedes Vega was born March 10th, 2001. And as you can see on my screen, she's utterly beautiful, stunning, a stunning female. This case was one of those that while I researched it, I actually got a little upset. I did. It was rough. We're going to hear from her parents. I know you're like, this isn't a 𝗟E:E After Dark. Cut it. Cut this shit out. But whatever, it's my channel. I do what I want. But I will never come here and I no longer support the channels that are not ethical and genuine and original. There is original, by the way. And so we're going to move on. She is stunningly beautiful, extremely beautiful. Here she is again with her mom. Yes, this is Mercedes. Hey, Michelle, good to see you. She is a dancer. Yes. Thank you, John. I appreciate you, John. Good to see you. I came in hot today. It's not a 𝗟E:E After Dark, but I might as well make it that. But anyways, we're going to cover Mercedes Vega. Like I said, she's a beautiful girl on my screen. Shout out to 𝗃𝗃 for gifting the first membership. Funky, welcome to 𝗟E:verse. So Mercedes Vega was born on March 10th, 2001 to her mom, Erica, and stepdad, Tom. She was born in Anchorage, Alaska. And then she later moved to Gilbert, Arizona when she was 18, and then moved to Tempe, Arizona to be on her own and be independent. A little bit about Mercedes on the screen. She's so beautiful. I can't get over it. I mean, stunning. Thank you, Sarah. I'm just, aside from me just talking some ish up here, all I'm saying, the climax of the story is just support genuine people. That's all. That's it. That's it. That's it. I've recently, okay, so now I'm trying to get my feelings back to Mercedes. We're not going to talk about me tonight. We're going to be doing a 𝗟E:E After Dark. Yeah. We're going to do 𝗟E:E After Dark. It's back. I'm back with 𝗟E:E After Dark. Later tonight, and we can talk more about what I'm talking about in the beginning, but I'm just saying is support creators that actually want to be here for true crime and do their own work for true crime, and that's it. Like I said, Mercedes Vega, Tempe, Arizona. She loved Christmas. She loved animals, and she had a horse named Cash. She also loved singing, and she would sing at local sports events, and she was a fantastic swimmer. But most of all is that the people around her knew she was good people, and they loved her, and she loved those around her. And she loved spending time with her family and friends. And She was working on becoming a personal trainer. She did work as an exotic dancer for 2 nights a week at a gentleman's club, which I don't judge here. Do what you need to do. She's a great human being. So that's not a factor that plays into people and who they are, right? Maybe job-wise, but personality-wise, I think that I didn't know Mercedes, but from the research that I've done, I feel like she was a very beautiful person. And we're going to watch a few interviews tonight from Kendall. She actually interviewed her family. So I'm going to cover a little bit of that. Shout out to Kendall. And we're going to cover a long crime little segment on her. And I have an affidavit, an arrest warrant, affidavit, whatever you call it, for the person being accused of this crime. What else do I have? And I think that's it. So we'll be here for a little good minute talking about Mercedes. And 187. What's up? Thank you. I appreciate you. What's up? Good to see you. I appreciate you all for being here. By the way, I just want to say that before I start again. I appreciate all you guys for being here and supporting me, for being me. And I will only come here and be me. Like I said, I do everything myself. I've been absent the last 3 days, but it's only because I've gotten an amazing opportunity in my personal life. But I'm still doing true crime every day. Don't worry. I just didn't have time to plan everything out. But next week I will be live almost every day or every other day. And then Saturdays and Sundays, I'm your weekend girl. Hello. What's up? I'm the weekend vibes. Nelly. Yes. Good to see you, Mo. Hello, beautiful Mo. Okay, so like I said, this is Mercedes Vega on the screen. And this is Mercedes Vega again. She was born in March 10, 2001. And like I just said, she was working as a personal trainer. And that was her goal. And for her 22nd birthday, she went to Hawaii. And she ended up falling in love with Hawaii. And I really think that plays a big factor into her case. I'm going to show a PowerPoint. I want to also show a Instagram page that helps support her, that's set up by the family. Yay! Thank you, Asain. I appreciate that. Thank you, beautiful Sarah. I really am just here for true crime. I love true crime. So that's it. I do my own thing. Oh, Gracie. Well, I hope it all goes well. Gracie's like, not Melly going crazy again. Gracie, I hope your surgery goes well, and I am thankful for you being here. Hello, Amanda says I was just worried. Oh, no, don't be worried. I was just busy as hell. I barely had any time to sleep this week, but I'm grateful for it. So Mercedes Vega, for her 22nd birthday, she went to Hawaii. And after this trip, she mentioned to her family that, you know, she loved Hawaii. And you're thinking, who is this girl? She's a beautiful girl from Arizona. And she's doing her thing, being independent, being on her own. And for her 22nd birthday, she goes to Hawaii, comes back from Hawaii and is like, that's my place. I want to live there. I want to grow family there. I want to, you know, it's where I want my ashes spread. Like she said, this is where her soul belonged. Right. And so it shows you a little of who Mercedes was. Unfortunately, she ended up being unalived. Very tragically. I'm trying to think. She was living out on her own on April 16th, 2023. She had plans to meet up with friends for a night out to go to Dave & Buster's. And the connection between her friends was the last text messages known to be sent from her. And, you know, deeper into the case, you'll see that her family thinks that this was a setup. And when you get the details of the case, I kind of can think that. I can see where they're getting that from. On April 16th, 2023, she was going out to Dave & Buster's, and she ended up being attacked in the parking garage of her apartment complex. Yeah, she was attacked. She was 22 years old, and she was very close to her family. We're going to see a lot of interviews on that. What I want to do is I wanted to introduce the case, show you who she is. She's so beautiful, so beautiful. My condolences to her family. As of December 4th, the victim has been caught. We're going to talk about that and like just shout out to anyone that knew her, sending all my love. I just want to cover it because it needs awareness. And I've seen bigger channels cover it. And by bigger, I mean like bigger channels like Kendall, Long Crime, not my friends on YouTube. And so they're like well-known creators, but not people I personally know. And that's where I want to just touch base on that with you guys real quick. Like I said in the beginning, just make sure you guys support good people on YouTube. I know it's hard. It's oversaturated. Every case is talked about, but not everyone is as original as you think. So like I said, I'm just here for the true crime. That's it. A good time. Let's get started. So I want to play a clip by Long Crime. They covered her case very well. I feel like it will give a good, they always do so amazing. And I feel like it's a good little video segment so you guys get a little backstory on the case. Mercedes ended up being found deceased in a trunk of the car. It's pretty brutal. I know, it's brutal. Yes, you're right, Cole. So I'm going to play a video by Long Crime, and then we're going to go through an affidavit, which is like 4 pages. I did make a little PowerPoint on her just to show how beautiful she is, and we'll go from there. I will get started with, this is a Mercedes Vega on the screen. So I'm going to play the Long Crime stream so we can get a little backstory of the Mercedes Vega case. I can sit here and talk about it, but they do such a good job to explain it, and I really support Long Crime. So we're going to show a video of them covering this. And then we'll get into the documents, etc., and we'll go from there. Let me know if you guys can see in here.
The information that someone's been arrested in her murder was almost as overwhelming as finding out that she was gone.
Police in Arizona say they expect to make more arrests in the case of a young woman who was kidnapped, tortured, and left in a burning car on the side of a highway. And as the case picks up momentum, there have been a number of strange twists and turns. I'm going to sit down with the victim's parents to find out more about her and the latest progress in the case. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Long Crime.
I love 𝗟𝗔 Weber. Shout out to 𝗟𝗔 Weber.
It has been more than a year since the horrific discovery of Mercedes Vega's body outside of Phoenix, Arizona. She was last seen alive on surveillance video in April of 2023, leaving her apartment complex in Tempe and walking to her car. Authorities believe the 22-year-old exotic dancer was attacked just outside of the frame of the video. Blood was found on the parking garage floor, and her car was later found abandoned. And after midnight, a 911 phone call came in about a car on fire on the side of I-10.
He was like down in the bushes, but I saw a flame inside the vehicle.
Okay, see, they're on the westbound I-10?
Yes. Yeah, just north of the highway. I don't really know what it is. I couldn't tell you.
Okay, unknown vehicle. Okay, anyone, you said there's people outside the vehicle?
I believe I saw at least one person outside, yes.
And Mercedes.
So before we keep going on with the video, Mercedes was leaving her apartment complex when she was attacked and unalived. And this happened on April 16, 2023. And as of recently, they have recently arrested the suspected person in this case. So it took very long. From what I hear from the family, police did not want to cooperate. The people who committed the crime are originally from Tennessee, and they have been extradited to Arizona because that's where she was from. Like I said, she grew up in Anchorage. She was born in Anchorage, Alaska, and she lived with her family in Gilbert, Arizona until she was 18. And then she moved to Tempe, Arizona to be on her own and be independent. She was a person who loved Christmas, loved animals. Like I said, she was close to her family, etc. And a beautiful person from all the research that I've done.
Autopsy report reveals the horrific torture she suffered before she died. She was shot in the arm, she was hit in the head, and she had bleach in her throat, bleach poured on her face. And the car that she was found in was set on fire. And the medical examiner determined that on top of all of her other injuries, her cause of death was contributed to smoke inhalation and burns. Now, who would have done this? Well, the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office announced that they arrested 22-year-old Sencere Hayes nearly 2,000 miles away in Tennessee in connection with Mercedes' murder. He was arrested and he was charged with first-degree murder. He's going to be extradited back to Arizona. Now, online court records show Hayes was arrested twice in the past year, once in May, again in June. He's facing charges of DUI, reckless driving, possession of a handgun while under the influence, theft of property. Hayes was also facing charges out of Alabama in 2021 for receiving stolen property and possession of marijuana. And that case ended up being dismissed just days before Mercedes was killed because of accusations against a deputy that was involved in the case. But no clear reason about why this might have happened or why he might have done this. By the way, as you can see,
So, pause on Jesse. So like I said, this crime happened on April 16th, 2023. And Mercedes had plans to go out with her friends to Dave & Buster's. And the text she sent at 8:45 p.m. Was to her friends, and 17 to 18 minutes later, she was missing. And this is a big part of the reason why her family thinks this was set up. We'll touch base on that a little bit later throughout the live. And so I just want you to keep that in the back of your mind. Hello, Christina B. I saw you pop in here. I'm glad to have you here. And then I saw also Huntress. Hello, beautiful Huntress. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you.
Content that we're covering here on Sidebar shows that the world is just not a safe place. It is scary. And you know what you really need to think about that? Aside from protecting yourself and your family, protecting your home. And I say that because I just found out that apparently home title fraud is rampant right now. I met with the people.
Not just you with the ad.
Again, she was the.
I'm gonna
use promo
a little bit.
Mercedes was a victim again. She was the victim of an armed robbery in Phoenix when she was just 19 years old. Cudjoe Young was accused of targeting women who worked at a gentleman's club, following them home, holding them at gunpoint, and demanding that they give him money. And Mercedes picked the suspect out of a photo lineup, wrote a victim impact statement to the court. And because of that, as you can imagine, Young was investigated as a possible suspect in Mercedes' murder because he was not locked up at the time, but he did have an ankle monitor. This is according to the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office. By the way.
So you're a little confused because you're like, wow, how did we just go from her walking out to her apartment? She was attacked. She was attacked by someone leaving her apartment complex, and she was murdered. Brutally murdered and tortured. And it sets up a lot of questions like, did she know something? Was it retaliation? Was it her profession? Was it her friends, etc.? Right? And that's just terrifying.
Young's armed robbery case, it's been delayed several times. And in a court hearing last month, his latest attorney told the judge that a plea deal could be in the works. If something isn't hammered out by January, though, Young will go to trial. And in a bizarre connection, it is reported that Young is from the same area in Tennessee as Sencere Hayes, Chattanooga.
So Sencere Hayes has been the one arrested for the crime, but there's a backstory to a crime previously in 2020 that Mercedes was dealing with, and we're going to touch base on that. I do have the court paperwork we're going to go over it shortly. So just keep watching the video, get a little backstory, and then we'll touch base on the information that I have and the documents.
So far, though, the sheriff's office has not commented on any connection between the robbery case and the murder case, but that is a strange kind of coincidence, if that's what it is. Now, investigators told family members that more arrests could be coming. Mercedes' family and friends, they have been fighting for justice in her case from the very beginning. According to her obituary, Mercedes was successful at everything she set out to do. She did not apologize for who she was, and yet she was always uplifting and encouraging those around her. So to talk more about this, I actually have two special guests with me. I'm joined by Erica and Tom Pillsbury. This is Mercedes Vega's mother and stepfather. First of all, thank you so much for coming on. I know this is never easy talking about this, and I just want to say I'm so sorry for your loss, and I'm so sorry for what you and the family are going through, what you have gone through. I really just want to start with how are you both doing right now?
And I love her parents here on the screen. They have been, and her friends have been diehard for this case. They have been following it, created, you know, they created like posters when she first went missing and they didn't know what happened because she just walked out of her apartment complex into the elevator to the parking garage and she was attacked. And then she was kidnapped and tortured. So at 9:15 p.m., Mercedes walked out of her apartment and surveillance footage captured her walking out of her complex and she was viciously attacked. She was struck on the head. She was shot in her right shoulder arm and she was hit on her head so viciously that there was blood and brain matter on the garage floor. None of the law enforcement knew about this until it was reported on 1 a.m. on 4/17. Public safety received a call about a burning car on the side of Interstate 10, which is where they found her body, which is 60 miles from her apartment. We're going to listen to her parents.
It's overwhelming. I mean, it was overwhelming last year at this time of year. This time of year is overwhelming, but getting the information that someone's been arrested in her murder was almost as overwhelming as finding out that she was gone. But now I've got some other emotions woven in there, some happy memories and some hope. Because for 19 months, we really had no hope.
Yeah, it's been really strange because we had the day that they showed up at nighttime, which was the worst day because we were out of the country. And then to have that over 500 days later, to have one call you, it's like you're happy, you're sad, you're angry, you're frustrated. You know, we don't have the answers why, but it was like completely devastating to, you know, not ever thinking that this was ever going to get solved, because I felt the longer it went on without someone being arrested, the farther the evidence would not be there.
So her family has been dealing with this case. She was unalived and they've had some problems with law enforcement and getting the case out there. And it wasn't, no one was arrested until this last month. So we're going to go over that arrest affidavit. Like I said, her body was found in a car 60 miles from her apartment. The only way she was identified was because she had a sheriff's card. If you don't know what that is a work permit it's designated to people who work in the entertainment industry. And with that being said, she was a dancer at a gentleman's club for 2 nights a week. That has no, you know, that doesn't, I feel like it plays a role into the crime, but it doesn't explain who she is as a person, right? It was just her job. She was a very loving person. She loved her family and her friends, and she didn't deserve what happened to her. Was it retaliation? Was it to quiet her? What did she know? Why did she go through this brutal crime? And why was she tortured and burned alive? Right? So disclaimer, this case does get a little deep. Trigger warning. Yes, X. They finally did make an arrest. We're going to watch that. I have the court documents and we're going to review it shortly. I just wanted you guys to get a little backstory on with long crime. This
What
great
were police
video they
telling
did.
you during this time?
From the very beginning, they really didn't tell us much.
Yeah.
When they first came to the door, the very first time, they only asked us 4 questions. They asked us if Mercedes was right or left-handed, where she actually lived, if she had any reason to be near Tonopah, Arizona, and if she owned a gun. And then they told us she was dead, and they didn't tell us anything else.
Yeah, I figured out that what happened to her by Googling Tonopah,
Hey,
Arizona.
good to see you.
That's how you found out?
Yep, because I mean, I know you're not in Arizona, but Tonopah is the middle of nowhere. It's heading towards LA. It's basically where was found. There's not another rest stop for 50 miles. So she was
her. The people the person that has been arrested for the crime is originally from Tennessee, and he has been extradited back to Arizona, where it was that the crime was committed. So just know that the person responsible is a person that was living in Tennessee and was in Arizona.
in the middle of nowhere. So my daughter
So
disappeared
beautiful.
in that area.
I love her.
There's a car
Beautiful.
on the side of the road with someone burning in it. I put it together. It's just they weren't very forthcoming with information. They've never been forthcoming with information. We've had to find out information from the media. We've found out information from Twitter. And I don't know if you've seen it, but the video of my daughter walking out of her apartment, they knew that was out there, and it was out there, and we didn't find it from them. We found it on Twitter. Someone sent it to us. They admitted that they should have told us, but they didn't tell us.
I was going to ask you what their explanation was.
None. We can't tell you information because her other siblings did a lot of digging.
Yeah.
And my wife especially started piecing things together, and so we would ask the questions with like knowing what we wanted to hear. And he'd say, I can't tell you that right now. I can't tell you right now. There will be a day I can tell you everything. But we never got information. It was very vague. We got a lot of secondhand information from the media.
Do you have any idea about why this might have happened? Do you know who this suspect is? Any idea?
Well, we know that she was the victim of armed robbery in 2020. And that he had followed her home, we believe, from work, or was waiting there, had known who she was.
So prior to Mercedes being attacked and unalived, there was a case in 2020 where she experienced robbery, and she was attacked there as well. And she ended up moving out of her apartment complex at the time and getting a new place, and reported that. And she was currently working to testify against the man that attacked her in 2020. We'll touch back on that because I have the court documents. But I feel like that plays back into the case. I think, in my opinion, I'm not a lawyer. This is all alleged. In my opinion, I do think there's multiple people involved in this case. And I do think that the robbery in 2020 played a role into this.
And she didn't really know who he was, but he had been watching her.
And just to be clear, you're talking about 𝗟𝗏, right?
Cujo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 𝗟𝗏 is the one who ended up being arrested for the robbery crime. Like I said, she was working on testifying against him before her murder.
Yeah, 𝗟𝗏, he had followed her, or was waiting for her when she pulled in, and held her up, threw her down on the ground, told her he was going to kill her, held her at gunpoint, made her open her phone, give him her car keys, her purse, and told her he was going to kill her. And she never ever went back to that apartment again. She ran to the neighbor, called 911. They came, and he is just now, well, he's facing those charges, but we were hoping he's going to come to a plea agreement around the 18th of December. We're hoping. We're giving him till that time, and then if he doesn't make one by then, we'll go to trial.
The strange coincidence in this whole thing is the gentleman that is under arrest, they both lived in the same county.
Yep.
They lived 12 miles apart.
So the person who attacked her was 12 miles, like you just heard her mother say, from the man that is currently being charged for her unaliving. Well, like I said, we'll go into deeper detail.
Wife looked it up.
Any other connection between the two of them that you know of?
Looks
No.
like they have the same hairdresser.
But other than that, from what we've been told, the person that is in custody now didn't really do social media, because I thought for sure that you would see something with these two together in some kind of social media thing, like out on the town or whatever. From what I've heard, there's been nothing that can link them together
So far.
so far. But it just seems very odd that they lived in the exact same county.
Because of course Mercedes was instrumental in Young's detention and prosecution.
She was.
Yes, she was.
She had identified him in a lineup.
Yep.
And she was planning on being at the trial. She had a statement she had written out. She planned on testifying. She pointed him out the 4th or 5th time he got arrested. He had come into her work. She pointed him out, and that's what got him arrested. So she was very instrumental and working very closely with law enforcement to try to get him to pay for what he had done. I mean, he terrified her.
As far as Mercedes'
So,
death,
like I said, Mercedes was attacked in 2020, and she was going to testify against 𝗟𝗏𝗃 Young. Sorry if I say that wrong. 𝗟𝗏 Young. That's who created the armed robbery in 2020. And I feel like, again, this plays a role into her unaliving, in my opinion. I think that she knew something, or they were out to get her for this reason. I really do believe that. I do believe it was planned.
investigators haven't
Set up.
given you an indication about
You may.
what the motive might have been, or have they even indicated what evidence led them to this suspect?
No, all we've seen so far is just that they're transferring Sencere back from Tennessee to Arizona on first-degree murder charges at all, so et cetera, including many other charges, and kind of indicated that he is the one who actually killed her, but didn't say those specific words.
His exact words was he was a main player in this happening. As of evidence, we have suggested evidence like video cameras, because of where she lived. There was cameras in and out of the place. Where the tram runs across from her place, there was evidence. They have just not given us that. They never questioned us like we were suspects. They never brought us down for questioning. It took over a year for them to even open up the silent witness to try to get people to be involved. It just seemed like that she didn't matter. And we got some advice from a family member to kind of because we figured it'd be solved real quick. So we backed off for the first almost 6 months. And then my wife said, I'm done being quiet. And that's when it started to grow. And then her friends started getting involved and so on. So we put a lot of pressure on them. We marched to their building and said, we want justice for her. And that was the very first time the sheriff spoke. And he didn't speak to us. He did a statement to the news.
So like I said, Mercedes was walking out on April 16, 2023 at 9:15 p.m. Surveillance footage catches her walking out of her apartment elevator into the parking garage, which is where she was attacked. Like I said, she had blunt force injuries to her head. She was shot in her right arm, and she was tortured and then driven away into a different location, miles and miles, in a very public area is where they found her body. It's terrible. My heart breaks.
Oh, we've been very hush hush on everything they've given us.
I'm sorry. You're not the first. You're not the only family members I've spoken to where they've experienced something very similar about kind of being kept in the dark. It's look, I'm an attorney. I get it. I understand. On one hand, there's a sensitive investigation. You don't want to reveal too much, but to not give the family any kind of insight about what's happening is incredibly distressing and frustrating. And I'm so sorry. Have the prosecutors reached out to you at all? Told you what the next steps are?
Maybe you.
The prosecutor in the case of the armed robbery, yes.
But not with Sencere.
Not with Sencere, but I don't know if they even know who's going to be prosecuting him at this moment.
Right.
He's not even here in Arizona. He's, he did sign a paper agreeing to come to Arizona. So that's all we have on him right now. We don't have any evidence or when it comes to her burglary, the prosecutor's been helpful, communicative, and we do have a victim's advocate, but for the longest time, because no one has been charged with her murder, we have had no resource for any help whatsoever due to her murder because there was no one charged.
And to be clear.
Okay. So like I said, this happened on April 16, 2023. She was driven 60 miles away from her apartment after she was attacked, and she was burned alive, literally burned alive. The medical examiner report states that she was still alive and died from inhalation of the smoke, fire, but it's only because they had poured bleach down her throat. Is that personal or not? Because like the minute that I heard this case, I'm like, okay, either she was going to testify against someone who had connections, or it was personal. It's such a personal case. I do believe, and I'm in agreement with the family, that there's others involved. Law enforcement believes that as well. You will see that in the next video that I showed. She had bleach poured down her throat. She was still breathing when her car was set on fire, and she was burned alive. I have no words. I'd even had a hard time putting this live together. I told one of my friends earlier, like, I cried putting this together just because once you watch like her friends speak about her and you know about her, I'm just at a loss for words how someone can do this, right? How are you going to pour bleach down someone's throat and light them on fire in a car in an area that's well populated and well known? If it was just about murder, why not kill her in the parking garage? Why take her and torture her? They took her for about 2 hours, and she was found in a very populated area. So you think, there's so many things that play a role into that. Like, why would they do it there if they knew they were going to be seen? Who was it? The person that was there clearly had a getaway car, right? Because like, how would they get away from the scene if they drove her car there and lit her on fire? So that is where the whole being set up and others play a role into this, because I do not think that this person acted alone. And that's why you heard the family say that they hope by the end of 2024 that all of them get caught. Sencere Hayes is the person that has been caught for this crime. But like I said, Mercedes has been assaulted in 2020, and she was going to testify against 𝗂𝗎 for assaulting her and attacking her. 𝗂𝗎 and Sencere Hayes live in Tennessee, 12 miles away from each other. Do they know each other? I don't know. You tell me. What do you think? Do they know each other? Do they not know each other? Maybe they do. Maybe they run in the same ring or whatever they are, right? And like I said, I just want you guys to think about, if it was just about murder, why do all of this? If it was about money and they had her car and her wallet and her phone, it wasn't clearly about the money, right? And that's where I come back to the fact that it was personal. The car was found abandoned behind a restaurant called Culinary Dropout, which again was a very populated area, very college students, etc. And so how does that happen? right? And Mercedes was a personal trainer. She was working to be a personal trainer. So her family does believe that if it was a one-on-one, that she might have been able to take them out. But clearly, for someone to throw her body in the car, drive her, burn her alive, and then have a getaway, I mean, it was planned, no? Yeah.
Are
What do
they
you
giving
think?
you an indication, law enforcement, that more arrests could be coming? I mean, by saying he's a main player, you know.
Yes.
So they said that they have him, and then they have someone also who's in custody already on another charge that will be charged, and that we believe there's probably two, if not three other people
Hey, Jen.
involved.
Well, there's video surveillance of her car being dropped off. And there's so that is the one thing that they did give me the information, because I wanted to know. They took my daughter's car from her place and drove to Mill Avenue, which is maybe 10 minutes. They didn't go anywhere else. Her car was dropped off. Two individuals got out of her car and got into the car that she was ultimately found in. So right there puts three people, because that person driving the car and the two that were in the car, you know, where did she go for 2 hours when they took her from her place? Because to drive from her place to where she found is an hour, and she was taken at 9:15 and not found till basically 1 o'clock in the morning. So we know that there's more people just based off of knowing that that car was dropped off, that this was not a one-person job, because her car had to be taken someplace, and then someone had to pick them up in another car, because they didn't drive her car out and then drop it off. They got rid of her car immediately.
So the people who committed this crime literally drove her car, went to an area, burned her alive, and then someone picked up that person, and then the car was found. So the big $1 million question is, why was a car moved to this location? And how did they not think like, oh, I would be seen, I would need a ride, etc., right? I think the point of moving the car to this location only to leave her in another car, which she wasn't found in her mom's car. She was found in her own car. On Interstate 10, which leads from Arizona to, could take you from Arizona to SoCal. So my question that I thought was, why would the killers risk leaving her in an area where they could be seen and her body would be easily found? They could have pulled off the interstate and have gone into a less busy area, right? They didn't have to do it in like a college surrounding area. Or maybe they had done this before, or maybe they knew her. I don't know. I feel like unless there was a reason for it or had been done before and they knew they would get away with it, as in, I do think there was more than one person involved, and same with the family. And they state that in the interview. They believe there was more than one player involved, and 𝗟EITG has been kept keeping that quiet. So Sencere Hayes has been arrested for this. We're going to touch back on the assault of 2020 in a second, and then we'll touch back on Sencere Hayes and his arrest, as I have the arrest affidavit.
I'm hoping you get those answers, because you need those answers about what happened.
Yes, we do.
It's really, really eerie and strange. But now that you're seeing an arrest, maybe things will happen more rapidly. I was hoping you could tell us, do you remember the last time you spoke with Mercedes?
Yeah.
I feel like I need to show some of the documents that I have here. Hold on. Sorry. I'm sharing. Sharing is caring. I want to show you guys a picture of Cujo Young, who assaulted her in 2020. This is him on the screen. I know. I'm a PowerPoint girl. I like to make PowerPoints. So this is who assaulted her in 2020. And I think it plays a big factor into this case. Cujo Young from Tennessee was extradited back to Arizona for this case. He robbed her at gunpoint in August of 2020. And he was wearing a mask, and he took her phone and a bag of money that she made. She was not the first victim. There have been other dancers that have been robbed from the club, 2 other females. And he was let out on bond, $45,000, and on electric monitoring at the time of her death. And do we think this plays a role into the crime, right? I do think so. I do think that plays a role into this. So I just want to show you the person that assaulted her in 2020 is on the screen so you can see. Let's get back to the interview.
Mercedes Vega's mom.
I'm Tom Pillsbury, Mercedes Vega's dad.
We want to talk a little bit about Mercedes and what she was like as a young kid. She was born very, very quickly. I was actually in labor with her for 4 minutes. We got to the hospital at 3.
Sorry, let me pull up more video.
So we were actually out on a cruise for my birthday. We were on the Virgin Cruise Lines out in the middle of the Caribbean Ocean, and we were texting back and forth. And I said, "Oh my gosh, Mercedes, you would love it on this cruise. It's so bougie, you know, using her lingo." And she said, "FaceTime me." And I tried, and it wouldn't go through. And the very last thing that I said to her was, "I tried." And those were the last words she heard from me.
I saw her the week before we left. So when Mercedes needed things like, or she was sick, we would bring her food or whatever, medicine. She needed me to come down and look at her car and put some lights in her car. So I got to see her the last time, you know, literally like days before we left. I didn't actually text her they were texting because it was her birthday, but I did talk to her, and she's like telling me how much she appreciated me and telling us to have a good time and that she loved me. And it hurts because that was the very last time that I got to see her, but I can say that I got to tell her I did love her. And then when I got back, it was just complete devastation.
I wanted to bring it back to her because she sounds like an incredible person, and I wanted you both have the platform to explain.
She is an incredible person. We're going to hear some interviews with her friends. After this happened, her family did put out a flyer. All of her family was involved with getting all her information out and trying to get help. You know, they felt like they weren't getting enough help from law enforcement. And so I'm going to show you guys the ad that was put out for her originally. This is it on the screen. I'm just going to touch base on the information in the past. So this is Mercedes' reward. This is for anyone who knew information about her. It states, in the early morning of Monday, April 17th, 2023, at 12:30 a.m., the Department of Public Safety received a 911 call of a vehicle on fire outside of Tonopah near I-10 freeway and milepost 85. The fire department extinguished the fire and found 22-year-old Mercedes Vega inside, deceased. Homicide detectives responded and assumed the investigation, and detectives were seeking help with understanding what led up to the violent murder and identify who is responsible, part of the solution, and call into silent witness if you have any information. So this was an ad that was put out after she disappeared and went missing for the short time before they found her in a car, deceased.
You know, what was she like?
Down her throat.
What was she like as a daughter? What was she like as a person? If you could just explain to our viewers.
Was it targeted? Absolutely.
Who Mercedes Vega was like.
She was born extremely fast. I was in labor with her for, I think, 6 minutes. She came out ready to be in the world, and she quickly established that she was there. She thought she was a little adult. First time she went to child care, they were told to pick up toys, and I asked, how she did, and they said, well, she did great until it was time to clean up. And so, well, Mercedes, why didn't you help clean up? And she said, oh, Mom, she was talking to the kids. And I was like, you are one of the kids. And she said, I am. She just thought she was such a grown up, but she was so good at everything she tried. I mean, she rode horses, she played the violin, she was an incredible straight A student. She wanted to go to Harvard. She loved to travel. She loved her family. She loved Christmas. And she used to watch the babies and the child care.
I wanted to cover this too, specifically now, because she did love Christmas. And I'm a small channel, but I am here to be the voice for her. I think we need to be, well, I don't know if he's going to plead guilty or not, but I would like for us to watch that trial go down. Like I said, I do believe that the previous assault, which I'm going to cover documents for in a second, plays a role into this. Mo, thank you for gifting. I appreciate you, my friend. Shout out to all the new members. Hey, Scott, good to see you. Mo, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you, my love. Thank you for being here and being a great friend and being a great mod. And welcome to all the new members. Penny, Beach Bum, Tien, Grace, you got a membership. And Stephanie. So welcome to Mellyverse.
They gave her special permission at church because she was only 8 and they needed to be, I think, 10 to be in the baby room. But they called her the baby whisperer. So they let her come in there because she could put them all to sleep. And she wanted to be a mom. As she was getting older, she was ready to open her own gym.
Heartbreaks.
That was her plan. She was a health nut. She worked out 6 days a week. She spent one day that she would go out and do things with her friends. That happened to be the day that her life was taken, as the day that she was going to meet friends at Dave & Buster's to play games.
Yeah, she was a very smart child.
Life artist.
One of the stories that resonates with us is when she was 7, she decided to do a PowerPoint presentation why we should take her to Disney World. So,
like I said, she was found unalived in a trunk. She was burned alive with bleach poured down her throat. Was it targeted? Absolutely, I think, in my opinion. It's personal, right? Like I said before, they could have just robbed her, taken her keys. They had her keys. They took her money. They could have gone into the apartment. They took her phone. Was it about money? No, because if so, they got what they wanted, right? The fact that they transferred her body to another car, caught it on fire, burned her alive, is personal, in my opinion. My theory is that someone set her up, someone who she trusted, and or it was someone that played a factor into the previous case where she was assaulted and attacked. When she was assaulted and attacked in 2020, she moved out of the apartment complex. She was going to testify against Cujo Young and then disappeared and was unalived. So that's my theory. We can all have different theories and perspectives. That's why we're here and we're talking about it. And the person was just arrested. Like I said, we're going to go over that arrest warrant, which is 4 pages long. And, you know, she made a comment to her friends about her being watched previously. And do I think the fact that she was a dancer plays a role into this? Perhaps. I think that maybe she knew someone, you know, in the industry. That could be a possibility as well. I don't judge anyone for what they do. I think whatever she did, she was still a good person. My channel, we're not going to judge or belittle or discriminate against the victim and or what they were doing, because we can all have a certain job and still be a different person. We're all good people. We all have our past. We all have our mistakes. No one is perfect, and we can't judge anyone based off of anything in the past. And although she worked in the industry, I feel like it could have played a role. But I think also it needs to be talked about more, right? My heart breaks for this family.
She sat us down and showed us, this is why you should take us to Disney World. I mean, this is at 7 years old. She used the same tactic when she was turning 16.
Well, before you tell me that, did it work? Did you?
Oh yeah, it worked. It worked.
Okay, it worked.
It
Yeah.
worked.
All right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, her and all of her siblings got to go to Disney World.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to be with all the.
And her family and her friends have been so diehard about following this case and getting justice for her. And was it jealousy? Was it money? Was it secrets? Were they stalking her? Like I said, if it was about the money, would they have really took her to another area and burned her alive? They poured bleach down her throat and then burned her alive. She was, according to the medical examiner report, she was alive while that happened. I pray that from the blunt force trauma that she wasn't awake during all of this. It's my hope and my pray that she didn't feel any of that. My heart breaks. Like I said, there's not many true crime cases that I get upset about all of them, right? It's very personal to me. I have experienced true crime in my personal life, which is not about what I'm about to talk about now, because it's not about me, it's about Mercedes. But like I said, we're going to be doing a members live only where we can talk about these things and make it more about me. It kind of leads into the Millie After Dark theory. But like I said, I do believe that this was personal, and we're going to hear from her friends. We're going to finish watching this interview, and then I will play her friend's interview, and then we're going to go through the arrest warrant and the previous assault case.
Princess is, even though she doesn't like to say that she did that, she did. I stood in line at every single princess so her and her younger sister could get pictures. And then when she turned 16, she did the same thing. She did another PowerPoint presentation to us for her first tattoo. And she used a Bible verse that my wife would say to her when she was little. She wouldn't go to sleep unless Erica read this Bible verse to her.
And she was very spiritual and intuitive, and I can relate to that. She was a beautiful person. Beautiful on the inside and out. My heart breaks. My heart breaks.
And so she put that, I want this on there in your handwriting. So how are you going to say no to that? She knew what she wanted. She had to figure it out on her own. She didn't like to be told what to do. Like example in school, she had straight A's, but then when she got in high school, it didn't interest her.
Yeah, she would pass every test with an A, but she wouldn't do a single homework.
Yeah, she wouldn't do the homework. And she wanted to figure things out on her own. She didn't want someone to say, you should do this to get to here, this. And that's why she danced twice a week, because it was easy money and she could do what she wanted to do, even though she knew that we didn't approve of what she did, but we had to accept it because she's our daughter. But she had other dreams and other things and goals in life. She knew, and I knew from a young age, that she could do whatever she wanted to do. Her friends said that she was like their mom, because she just was so good advice, nurturing, and just was there. She just was a very kind spirit. But she could be a little nasty when she wanted to be. But ultimately, she just, she loved her family, and she
loved animals. Babies loved her. Animals loved her. I mean, people were just drawn to her. You knew when she was in the room.
Yeah.
She sounds like such a special person, and I'm not surprised she has a love for Christmas. I wonder where she got that from. I can't imagine. So
she definitely got that from us. Yes.
Yeah. Well, listen, I know this isn't easy talking about this. I really appreciate you both coming on. I'm wishing you both nothing but the best, and I'm thinking of you as you're going through this next stage of the legal process. So we're wishing you all the luck through this. If you need anything, you come to us. You have a platform here. But I want to wish you, again, happy holiday. Torture she suffered.
So as you guys saw on the screen from that interview with her parents, and what you know now from the case from me, and we saw the ad for her, we saw who assaulted her in 2020. Let's touch back on the assault in 2020. Like I said, she was robbed at gunpoint. Let me put her up back on the screen. She's so beautiful. Wow. Stunning. Stunning. And this is who assaulted her in 2020. And it is said that he might have a connection to the person that was recently arrested for her unalighting. This is a person that robbed her in 2020. And now on the screen, you have the person that is being charged with her crime. So we're going to listen to a few interviews from her friends and what they have to say about her. And then we'll go back and read the affidavit that I have for her. So let's listen to her friends speak about her for just a few minutes, just because I want you guys to get a background on her.
Eric Pillsbury, Mercedes Vega's mom.
I'm Tom Pillsbury, Mercedes Vega's dad.
We want to talk a little bit about Mercedes and what she was like as a young kid. She was born very, very quickly. I was actually in labor with her for 4 minutes. We got to the hospital at 3:58, and she was born at 4:06. It was only 5 pounds, 3 ounces. She was really, really tiny and just ready to be out in the world. As she got older, she thought she was an adult her entire life. First time she ever went to childcare was 3. And I went to pick her up and asked how she was doing or how she did that day. They said, well, she was great until the end. And we'd asked her to help clean up, and she didn't want to clean up. And I asked her, well, Mercedes, why didn't you clean up when the teachers told you to clean up? And she says, oh, Mom, she was talking to the kids. She was very protective. She wasn't diving at 2 years old. She would jump off the high dive. In some ways, she was absolutely fearless. And he loved to cook. He was into volleyball.
She loved Christmas. One year when she was very little, she made a Christmas list. Like you would roll in a scroll, and it must have had 200 items. Another thing is that we would watch Christmas movies. It was like a birthday
with her parents.
that
We
we would lay on the couch, eat from the corn, and we would watch Christmas movie after Christmas movie after Christmas movie. It's something I missed this year, and it was really, really hard because it's something that I did with her every single year. I would record them. Home Alone, we watched 3 or 4 times. Didn't matter, The Grinch, whatever it was. Another thing that
Hello, Miss
thought about was when she was little. There's a little terror sometimes. Mom, she wanted her hair done a certain way, and Mom had to comb it. And they would get into some arguments like, you're pulling out my hair. And Mom would go in there and comb her hair every day. It had to be done a certain way. Mercedes was very meticulous, and that came to her outfits also. She would actually pick them out the night before and lay them on the ground, kind of looking like, oh, this is what I'm going to look like the next day. She just was that kind of person that if you got to know her, you'd love her. She just was a very
I already do love her, right? We love her.
Person.
Hi, my name is
This is her
Mackenzie
friend,
Lockhart,
an interview with her
and
friend.
Mercedes is somebody who I will always, forever and always love and keep near to my heart. She was just the absolute best. There's like no other way to say it. She was the absolute best. Some of the things that we really liked to do with one another, we would always go to the specific In-N-Out, and she'd be speed racing, and we would always be screaming, shouting the song Shawty at the top of our lungs. So whenever I hear that song, I dedicate that song to her. That's my Mercedes song. Another thing that we would do all the time all together was watch the Savage X Fenty shows. We both had the same passion for love, for dance, for fashion, for shoes, for jewelry, any way of expressing yourself through fashion and dance. And that's something that I'm really, really, really going to miss.
Hi, I'm 𝗟𝗄𝗃. I'm Mercedes' childhood friend. We met in junior high, and the rest was history. Mercedes was a light. She was somebody you can depend on, and she was somebody that you wanted on your side. She was amazing, to say the least. Like, you could literally call her, text her at any time of the night, asking her any type of question, asking her to do anything, and she was there. They say they're too good for this world. Like, she was just too good for this world, and that would really make me so mad. But it really does make sense, because she really was too good for this world. She was just somebody that you just wanted to be around and hug and just talk to, because you could talk to her.
My name is Astilia. Mercedes was my cousin. Mercedes was like my little sister. We really liked singing together. I remember also I had this birthday party when I was younger, and it was like a silly little like America's Got Talent style thing, and we each prepared songs, and like I remember she had like this black and blue dress on, and it was like sparkly, and she looked like Hannah Montana. But I remember just like the pure joy in her face seeing her sing. Like that was definitely one of the things she loved. That and horses. She really did have a way with horses. She's just so passionate about everything that she does. Everything, you know.
Now, as I mentioned earlier, Mercedes was born in Alaska. However, at some point.
So you guys heard from her family there. What do you guys think? What are you guys thinking thus far? I mean, burned alive with bleach down your throat. I'm going to play another interview by one of her friends.
Is because the nature of the crime. Mercedes was taken around 9:15 and found at 1 a.m. in the morning. Well, from her house to Tonopah, Arizona, that's an hour drive, about 60 minutes, give or take, with freeway. She lived right off the freeway, so it wasn't like they had to drive a bunch of side roads to get to the highway. So they ultimately took her somewhere for 2 hours, disposed of her car in Tempe. They knew that they were on security camera. Because they knew that they had to have staked out the place prior. Her garage had cameras. There were cameras outside. They knew the surroundings. They were waiting and wait for her to come down. As you can see from the video that you showed earlier, this is not a person that was worried about her surroundings. She felt very safe. If she felt that she was in danger at that particular moment, I don't think she would have been looking down at her phone. She was just very protective of her surroundings. So to me, someone had to tell her or tell them that she was there and leaving at that particular time. There's a text at 8.
So what her parents are touching on here is that when she was walking out of her apartment complex, when she was attacked, they think it was a setup. They do. They think that from 17 to 18 minutes and then her disappearing, from her getting that last text, they think that possibly someone led the perpetrator there. And they unalived her for some reason, right? We don't know that reason yet.
8:54, and literally 17 minutes, 18 minutes later, she's missing. So there's communication and then disappearing. So how could that not have anything to do with it? Because you're communicating with somebody, so you're letting somebody know she's here, she's there at that time. She lived very close to her work, and they didn't have a lot of time. It's not like you could have stayed down in that garage for 20, 30 minutes and hopefully not get seen. It was the parking garage for the entire complex. That's why I believe she was set up and targeted. What bothers me the most is, what did they do with her for 2 hours? And it's kind of back to what you were saying earlier. Did she know something? Or are they trying to show, if you say something, this could happen to you also?
It was too thought out and planned, and the fact that she had no reason to be anywhere near Tonopah and that they'd driven her all the way out there. Maybe the car got a flat tire. Maybe she was kicking the windows out of the car. I don't know if she was bound. We don't know when she was shot. We don't know when the bleach was poured in her throat. We just know ultimately that she was still alive when she was lit on fire after all that she had gone through, whether it was a message that they were trying to send. As I had mentioned before, Mercedes was very, very protective. I'm hoping that she didn't die protecting someone, but it's a possibility that she wouldn't give up where someone was or what someone had said or done, and her life was taken because of it.
To me, this was done out of hatred. And hatred can be rooted in a lot of things. And in my opinion, I think that one, it could have been deeply rooted in jealousy from who knows? There's theories it's an admirer or a stalker or somebody that she may have turned down or possibly even a friend, or that it was done out of fear of the possibility of her knowing something that she wasn't supposed to know. When it comes down to it, I know she was set up. And who it was, I don't know. But to me, at the top of the list, the last people that she talked to, 10 months later, looking at every possible thing, somebody had to know or be told when she was leaving. The only people who would know she was leaving were the people that she was last talking to. So why nobody's saying anything is just completely cowardly, in my opinion. Because all of these 10 months, it's not like you haven't seen us begging and pleading for answers and for justice from Mercedes. If you know something, say something.
If you know something, say something. Yeah. Let's take that into the YouTube world. I know that's hard, but if you know something, say something. Yes. Please. Are you guys shook? Because I'm shook. How does someone get bleach poured down their throat and burned alive? I can't. I can't. Okay, let's continue listening to another one of her friends.
He had some information, and they were trying to get that information out of her because we said it earlier, they could have just shot her in the garage and left her. Why take her? Why take the risk? Go from 9 to 1 o'clock unless you're trying to get something out of her or find out something about somebody. I do believe that there's multiple people involved. I do believe that there is most likely a female involved and 2 males involved, because my daughter had probably 5% body fat, and she would not just go silently into the night. They had to be bigger than her, catch her off by surprise. And I believe that someone she knew let them know where she was at that particular time, and they had literally maybe 10 minutes to execute what they had planned. One reason why I believe the car was left on the highway was it was a show me crime. It's to say, if you open your mouth, this is what could happen to you.
Unfortunately, when it comes to her phone records and things, we can't see every Snapchat she sent or every Instagram post. I don't know if it was Mercedes that got caught up in it and that she knew something. They were coming to her to try to get information on someone else, and she wasn't willing to give that up. If she was died as a martyr, I don't know if she ran her mouth and pissed somebody off. Jealousy and anger. Those are the 2 theories that we have. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't a mistake. They purposely killed her.
She was targeted. She was set up, and most likely she was set up by somebody she knew, because you don't talk to somebody at 8:54 and 9:15 you go missing. And that's the hardest part for me, to just sit back and it's kind of where I was talking about the police and in their investigation. That person, to me, should be the biggest person of interest. Every person that was around that person when that text came through should be questioned. Should have been, well, who did you tell or who did you talk to? And then for her to respond back later at 10:15 or so, oh, I guess you're not coming. It was to cover her track.
One of the things about what happened to her that sticks out to me is the bleach that was found in her throat. To me, there's 2 possibilities for that. One, because her attackers, not 1, but I think 2 or 3 at least, to possibly get rid of any DNA. It would not have surprised me in the least if Mercedes bit one of them, or it could have been a message. And this is why I think that it could be a fear of her knowing something she isn't supposed to, because maybe they did it so that she wouldn't say anything.
Hey, Barbosa. Good
We're
to see
working
you.
with what we have, and what we have is what we think up here.
I was also thinking possibly sex trafficking, because that is very common in the Tempe area. But the people that did this obviously knew what they were doing. This wasn't their first time doing it. It honestly just kind of I feel like bamboozles all of us because she did not deserve this.
So, how hard is it to hear from her friends and her family, right? Are you guys shook? Isn't this case so rough? So rough.
That we know that we can do. There's got to be more to do. We need to bring more light to this. That's why we continue to do things like this, because there's no reason why it should be silent. Someone knows something, and her life at 22 does matter. And it is the biggest saying that I always say, and I've said it multiple times in everything that I've ever done. Her life mattered. And I will do anything, and my wife will do anything to help bring these killers to justice.
I have had evidence that I had to turn in to the police, and I have noticed some suspicious behavior on different Instagram accounts that interacted with her account. You know, it's not that hard to find these things out these days, and I'd say that people don't realize that, so they're not quite as careful. But I also have been on the phone with Erica constantly. We both, in the beginning, really tried to figure this out on our own because we felt like the police weren't doing anything, and they weren't telling us anything. We couldn't find anything out. We had nothing, and for a while we were told to be quiet about it, but we got sick of waiting. So I was on the phone with her and with Erica, and she said, it's time to blow this up. And I was like, okay, let's go. That's when the Honoring Mercedes Vega Instagram page was basically born. I have no doubt that by the end of this year, we'll have our answers, and that these fuckers are going to get caught, and they will get what's coming to them.
I don't live in Arizona anymore, so my physical efforts couldn't really be there, but I did, and I still continue to try my hardest on social media by making TikToks and videos to really keep her name alive and making sure nobody forgets her smile and her laugh, because that really would radiate through the screen, and it still continues to. And I know that people on social media and people all over the world are hearing her voice and hearing her story, and that's what we want, and that's what we're doing.
We like to just kind of walk down the streets and pass out flyers and kind of share her story, and as short of a briefing as we can, not only to share her story, but to spread awareness and let people know that it's not safe. The only form of social media that we have is at Honoring Mercedes Vega. So the Honoring Mercedes Vega profile that we have is the sole account where friends and family are using to post case updates, but most importantly, share who Mercedes was, what we want people to remember about her.
Like you may have heard mentioned before.
Okay, so now I'm going to show you guys what they are talking about her, the Mercedes Vega page. I want you guys to see. Let me pull up. This is a Mercedes Honoring Mercedes Vega page on Instagram. And they have a lot of information on here. So go follow if you are on Instagram. Here it is. You get to see a lot of the case updates and a lot of beautiful pictures. And you get a background into Mercedes. Look at her. She's so beautiful.
What do you have to say to the camera? I have to say that it's your birthday. I'm feeling 22.
So she went to Hawaii for her birthday. That's her dream place where she wanted her ashes spread one day, and she wanted to start a family in Hawaii. This is the page. So if you are on Instagram, you can go follow and support. I love it. It shows so much into her and who she is. She's so beautiful. Yeah, right? So I'm just showing a few pictures of her life. Oh, she's so beautiful. Look at her right here. So beautiful. I can't get enough. Thank you. Oh, Bun Bun, thank you for gifting. Augie, thank you for gifting as well. I appreciate you guys so much. All of you who are here supporting my channel, shout out to you. I appreciate you. It never goes unnoticed. Welcome new members. I want to continue. We have one more interview from her friends, and then we'll move on to the docs that I have. Sorry, let me make sure I'm sharing the screen with you guys.
Kidnapping, shooting, and killing my child. Anyone, even if it was the person that just sent the text of where she was going to be, you are all facing the death penalty. And your best bet is to come forward and to talk to, you can call silent witness, but we're not going to show any mercy. There is a murderer, a killer, a cruel, torturing, evil, subhuman walking around in Tempe, Arizona, and everyone should be afraid. Everyone.
I love her mom.
Every
Erica.
mom should be
Shout out to
afraid
mom
for their
Erica.
child. Every dad should be afraid for their child. Everybody needs to be careful. This murderer is still walking around. This murderer is facing the death penalty. And if you had anything to do with it, you are too. We're not going to stop. You're going to face capital punishment. So if you weren't aware, you can call silent witness and you can help yourself out. There's also a reward involved, but your best bet is to come forward now.
I want people to know that Mercedes was an amazing person and she was so strong, really. She was taken from us for a reason. And I feel like that's for us to spread the word and the awareness that you need to be careful out there. Tempe isn't as glorious and as amazing as it seems. If you really look into the missing cases, the kidnappings, we just need to bring awareness to everybody to look over your shoulders, look over your back, do self-defense classes, carry, pepper spray if you do. Just be careful out there because this world is evil. It's an evil fucking world out there. It's actually crazy. And it's funny because me and Mercedes would joke about that, like it's the evil world out there. We did not even understand how evil it could get.
What I want and need people to know about Mercedes is that if you judge her for her line of work, the problem is you. She was one of the most dedicated, strong, perseverant, stubborn people I ever fucking knew. And she was loving and caring and kind. And when she fought with you, it's because she fucking loved you. And
this breaks
I
my
realize
heart.
that now more than ever. And I want you to walk away being careful and aware of your surroundings and paying attention to behavior from strangers.
She was like the physical embodiment of an angel, and because some evil, disgusting, vile scumbag person did what they did, she now is an angel that we can't see anymore. And I'm very blessed that Mercedes is such a strong spiritual being. She was before she passed, so now it's like I feel her all the time. No one is perfect, but she was to me. And I'm going to miss her and love her until I take my last breath. And I'm going to fight. I'm going to fight for her as long as I have to.
So, Thank you, Tipsy. Tipsy says, thank you for talking about such a difficult case. Awareness is everything. I appreciate you, Tipsy. Thank you for the super chat very much. I appreciate you. So, it's rough. It's rough. It's rough. I have a hard time covering this case. So this case happened, this crime happened April 16, 2023, and up until December 4th, no one had been arrested. Yeah, over a year. No one had been arrested. No one had been charged with a crime. Like I said, we're going to touch back on the August 2020 assault. Does it play a role? Maybe. I mean, she was attacked and she was going to testify against this person that you see on the screen. His name is 𝗂𝗄𝗯𝘀𝗰𝗿. They're all from Tennessee and have been extradited back to Arizona where the crime was committed. So burned alive. Burned alive. I mean, I have no words. I have no words for this. So like I said, as of December 4th, 2024, literally a couple weeks ago, no one had been arrested or charged for a crime. So now we're going to watch who's being charged and who was arrested for this crime.
He remembers every detail from the morning of October 12th, 2020.
She was 19 years old. She was a baby.
Her daughter, Mercedes Vega, had been robbed at gunpoint. And this is the first time Pillsbury is publicly talking about the violent.
So this is her mom talking about when she was robbed in 2020. So now we're going back to 2020. We're going to kind of connect both of the cases together.
Crime.
How did you find out about what had happened?
About 5 o'clock in the morning, and I got a call, and it was from an officer.
According to a Phoenix police report and court records, just before 5 a.m., Mercedes was on her way home from the gentleman's club where she worked. After she pulled into the parking lot of her apartment near 16th Street in Thomas, she got out of the car. And that's when a man wearing a mask and gloves pointed a gun at her, demanding she give him her phone, keys, and her bag containing money. Fearing for her life, Mercedes complied. He demanded her phone's password, and Mercedes' mom says she was then shoved to the ground while the suspect pointed a gun in her face.
She had gravel in her back, and I was trying to pick it out and put hydrogen peroxide on it.
Mercedes' friends remember the impact the attack had on her. She never returned to that apartment complex.
So when she was attacked in 2020, of August of 2020, her family, her mom, you just heard her say that she had gravel in her back. That's how hard they pushed her into the ground to attack her. And she ended up pursuing the case, and she was going to testify against 𝗂𝗄𝗯𝘀𝗰𝗿. And then she was unalived 4 days later.
Immediately moving out,
the connection
carefully
here?
choosing a new apartment in Tempe she felt was safer.
I remember she was just scared. That was just the only way. She was trying to kind of
thank you, love.
Start over in a
Appreciate
different
you.
way, do different things than what she was doing, because I felt like she tried to take it as a lesson learned.
She was definitely like, yo, we need to make sure we're protected and we're very aware of our surroundings, and like especially just fellow dancers.
A month later, a fellow dancer at the same club Mercedes worked at was targeted. Newly obtained documents from Scottsdale police show at 3:45 a.m. a man was seen on surveillance footage walking through an apartment complex parking garage wearing a hooded sweatshirt and gloves. And as soon as the woman got out of her car, the suspect approached her at gunpoint, taking off running when a passerby arrived.
It was interrupted. And fortunately, nothing was taken, and she wasn't
assaulted.
As investigators worked to solve the cases, Mercedes noticed activity on her cash apps. A person was trying to transfer money out of her account and into his. After police tracked down that person's account and learned the suspect's vehicle information, they were led to
Cujo
Young, pictured
Young.
here in his University of North Texas football uniform. Mercedes identified him in a photo lineup, and Young was charged with armed robbery and attempt to commit armed robbery.
Bun Bun says, so they were being, yeah, I think she was being followed and targeted. I do. What do you think? I mean, she disappears 4 days later, right? I don't know.
Mercedes was a brilliant person and very observant.
Following Young's arrest,
Brady.
he posted his bail,
Love. Thank you for being here.
$30,000 in Mercedes case and $15,000 in the Scottsdale case.
This is a horrible situation that my daughter went through, not only once, but again when she was murdered.
Mercedes would never get to see justice. As she and her family awaited trial, she was murdered. The night of April 16th, 2023, Mercedes was last seen walking to her car in the parking garage of her Tempe apartment complex, the apartment she moved to after she was robbed. Hours later, her body was found burning inside of a car.
Police didn't release the rest of that body cam from the parking lot because it was too brutal. Allegedly, according to them.
On the side of the I-10 freeway near Tonopah. A medical examiner's report revealed she had been tortured, blunt force injuries, a gunshot wound, and bleach was found in her throat. Her gruesome death, being investigated by the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office, remains unsolved to this day.
Someone took her life in the most heinous of ways.
Cujo Young was out on bond at the time of Mercedes' death, and court records show he may have had an ankle monitor. The I-Team asked whether MCSO has investigated potential links between the robberies and the homicide investigation and about the ankle monitor. A spokesperson says they, quote, will not comment on this or any other possible connects at this point. In a May 2023 hearing,
the victim in one of the cases died about a week ago of something presumably unrelated.
Young's attorney asked to withdraw from his case, delaying his trial for armed robbery.
The situation, the ethics question that I'm dealing with and wrestling with, and I was instructed by my ethics counsel that I have a mandatory duty to withdraw.
And in November of 2023, he was arrested in a Tempe police narcotics operation, accused of facilitating a large-scale drug transaction involving around 40,000 pills containing fentanyl. 11 other defendants have been charged in the case, and while some have been offered plea deals, Young has not. He's been held without bail ever since.
I'm very grateful that he's sitting with no bond.
Young was supposed to go to trial for the 2 armed robbery cases this week, but in a new development after changing attorneys again, it's now been pushed to October.
We all just miss her so much.
Mercedes is no longer here to aid in his prosecution.
In honor of my daughter, I will be there every single day in court.
Wow. I don't even know where to begin, but
I don't even know.
First of all, do we know if there were any other victims?
It's a good question. So we've learned that actually about a year before Mercedes and the Scottsdale woman were robbed, a third dancer at the same gentleman's club had the same thing happen to her. She called police after a man wearing a ski mask pointed a gun at her and took her bag of money. Despite alerting police right away, a suspect was never identified in that case. But this week, Scottsdale police said the violent crimes unit there is now reviewing that case to see if it's connected.
So she was robbed in 2020 and then she was unalived. Is it connected? This is out of Arizona, Stella. The perpetrators were originally from Arizona and they have been extradited. So this is Sencere Hayes. As of December 4th, he has been charged with her unaliving. So this is him on the left. And this is the extradition waiver that I got from the court system. So basically just says he's going to be transferred, going to be arrested in Tennessee and then transferred back to Arizona for the case. This is him. Hey, Tony, good to see you. Thanks for being here. It's rough, right? I'm going to show you an interview about him being charged.
Elation in the detective's voice, and he said, "We got him. We got him."
A Tennessee man has now been arrested a year and a half later after 22-year-old Mercedes Vega was found inside a burned car in Arizona.
Now, in a statement released yesterday, a spokesperson with the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office in Arizona identified the person arrested as 22-year-old Sencere Hayes, as you see pictured here. Now, the statement says that Hayes was arrested in Tennessee by the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office, and our Chattanooga's Fallon Howard is joining us live in studio now with more details. Fallon, good morning.
Good morning, Dane and Hannah. That's right. The Hamilton County Sheriff's Office inmate records say Sencere Hayes was arrested on November 11th and is being held with no bond. We did some digging and got in contact with a news station in Phoenix, Arizona, who spoke with the parents of Mercedes Vega. They were called when they got a knock at the door from law enforcement on April 17th,
Hello,
2023.
We called the detective and we were like, explain to us what is going on. And that is when he told us that Mercedes was abducted and that she'd been hit over the head and forced into a vehicle, and that she was shot through her right arm, and that she had been burned alive.
Yeah, we didn't find out a lot of the information, like the bleach in her throat, till after
6 months later, when we got her autopsy.
The Pillsbury's are getting ready for another Christmas without their daughter, but they're relieved to know they're getting closer to getting justice.
What gives us is that she's going to be vindicated and she is going to get justice.
We have reached out to the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office for more details on Hayes' arrest. Reporting in studio for our Chattanooga, I'm Fallon Howard. Dane, Hannah, back to you.
Thank you so much, Fallon. And the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office in Arizona is working with attorneys to get Hayes extradited and back to Maricopa County in Arizona. Now, I just want to walk us through a timeline of events of the night of Vega's death. We know that she left her apartment around 9 o'clock on, I believe it was April 16th, 2023. She had plans to go see friends. She ended up by abruptly canceling those plans with her friends, saying that she was going to work. Later on, they found her car about a mile away from her apartment complex with the key still inside and parked illegally. And they did later find her body in that burning car with all of those traumatic injuries that we heard about, the bleach in her throat, the gunshot wound to her arm, and that head trauma as well.
You know, obviously we're waiting on a lot more details, but I think it's fair to argue what this amounts to is essentially torture. We, don't know all the details about it. Sounds like the parents believed that she did not know, Hayes at all. So we don't know if, what the motive was behind that murder, or if this was just a random event. But again, her body found in that burning car in Tonopah, Arizona, which is just west of Phoenix, where her family lived. And of course, a very hard time of year for that family, for the Pillsbury family, as they, remember her with the photos hanging on the walls. As you can see here, they said, making sure that her stocking is still hung during Christmas time.
And like you said, Dane, a lot of questions involving this case, especially with the suspect. We don't necessarily know. I mean, the parents have said that she didn't know her alleged attacker here, and that just a lot of questions up in the air around the motive, if this was just a random attack, if this was planned. A lot of investigating to do later on in this case, but at least a little bit of justice finally for this family, so that they can have a little bit of peace of mind again, it being a year and a half later since this all unfolded.
And of course, we've been in close contact with that Fox affiliate station in Phoenix, Arizona, hoping.
So There you go. She was attacked in 2020, and now, as of December 4th, someone has finally been arrested for this. Sencere Hayes, who I showed you on the screen previously. Now I'm going to show you guys. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. Okay, so can you guys see the document on the screen? It's the arrest warrant. That first page doesn't say much. It just says that he's being arrested. And this is where the court document. Like I said, it's just his arrest and being extradited. We're going to read through the affidavit, but I have no words. No freaking words. You guys think this was related or no? I'm curious. What do you guys think? They do have the DP. It is horrible. What is the significance of bleach? Great question, Stella. And I'm glad you're here. Beautiful. Thank you. There's a lot of theories, right? A lot of people think maybe that she bit her perpetrator, and so they poured bleach down her throat to get rid of evidence. But that's personal. Again, why would you drive the car in an area that's well populated, in a college town, and her parents feel a specific way about her family believes this was a setup. They do. I don't know. Could it be someone that knew her? And they were trying to keep her quiet about something? Was it something related to the assault case in 2020?
The 22-year-old was found in a burning car off the I-10 near Tonopah in April 2023. Our Ashley Holden has followed this investigation from the very beginning and spoke with Vega's parents earlier tonight. They shared their emotional reaction to the break in this case.
It's like I was happy, I'm angry.
You can't kill her energy.
The one thing that I feel is that she was vindicated. She did matter.
Tom and Erica Pillsbury speaking with ABC 15 hours after the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office announced an arrest in their daughter's case.
But it also feels like a gift for the holidays, in a way that she's going to get some justice.
The pair waiting for this day since April 2023, when Mercedes was found in a burning car off I-10 near Tonopah. Her family has believed she was taken from her Tempe apartment complex parking garage.
The horrific way in which she was murdered, hitting her over the head and pouring bleach in her throat and shooting her in the arm.
For over a year, her parents and friends put up flyers and shared Mercedes' story while praying for answers.
We've been fighting for her. Her friends will continue to fight for her, but she doesn't have to fight to get the answers out. The answers are now coming out.
A detective calling the Pillsburys to let them know 22-year-old Sencere Hayes was taken into custody last week in Tennessee.
Tell me what that call was like.
I just about hit my knees. Just seemed so unreal. We've been waiting. It's been 19 months since she was so brutally taken from us. And to get that call from the detective that said, we got him. We got him.
As MCSO works with our county attorney to extradite Hayes back to Arizona, details are limited, but the sheriff's office did say more arrests are.
Is that a name you had ever heard before a week ago?
No.
ABC 15 did find the booking information for someone matching the same name on a Tennessee agency's website, but the sheriff's office is not confirming this is the person accused in Mercedes' case.
Mercedes makes a difference.
Yeah.
She mattered, and she makes a difference.
The Pillsburys, proud of the impact and awareness Mercedes has made.
It's the fight that we know who we're fighting against.
As they prepare to learn new details in the case, they are still grateful.
What do you think Mercedes is thinking right now?
I think she's dancing.
Yes.
I think she's flying, and I hear her saying, "You got it. You did it. Like, we got him, Mom. We got him."
Monday evening, we did reach out to the Maricopa County Attorney's Office about this case and what's next. We're waiting to hear back. For Arizona Tonight, I'm Ashley Holden.
Thank you for that.
I mean, how brutal, right? Okay, so as you know, this is Mercedes right here on the screen. Beautiful. And now we're going to cover the affidavit. This is her right now on the screen, Mercedes Vega. Very beautiful. Okay, let's get into the court docs. So this is it here. The state of Arizona versus Sencere Patrick Hayes. He has been the one arrested for first-degree murder, kidnapping, armed robbery, and theft of means of transportation. Sorry, let me pull up the next doc. All right, count one. Sencere Patrick Hayes, on or about April 16th, 2023, intending or knowing that his conduct would cause death with premeditation, caused the death of Mercedes Mariana. The state further alleges that the offense charged in this count is a dangerous felony because the offense involved the discharge, use, or threatening exhibition of a gun or blunt force trauma instrument, a deadly weapon or dangerous instrument, and or the intentional or knowing infliction of serious physical injury upon Mercedes Mariana Vega. Sencere Patrick Hayes, on or about 16th, 2023, acting either alone or with one or more other persons, committed or attempted to commit kidnapping, armed robbery, and in the course of and in furtherance of such offense or immediate flight from such offense, Patrick Hayes or another person did cause the death of Mercedes Mariana Vega. The state further alleges that the offense charged in this count is a dangerous felony because the offense involved in the discharge, use, or threatening exhibition of a gun and or blunt force instrument, a deadly weapon, or dangerous instrument, and or, sorry, let me get to the other page. I know the way they sent it to me, I'm like, ugh. And or, oh, I'm sorry, I pulled up the wrong one. Let me get to the other screen. Intentional or knowing infliction of serious physical injury upon Mercedes Mariana Vega. Sencere Patrick Hayes, on or about 16th, knowingly did restrain Mercedes Mariana Vega with the intent to inflict death, physical injury, or a sexual offense on her or to otherwise aid in the commission of a felony. The state further alleges that the offense charged in this count is dangerous felony because the offense involved in the discharge, use, or threatening exhibition of a gun or blunt force instrument. And then count three, on or about April 16, 2023, did in course of taking property of another from Mercedes or immediate presence of and against her will use threats of force against Mercedes with the intent to coerce surrender of the property or to prevent resistance to Sencere Hayes or an accomplice used or threatened to use a deadly weapon, dangerous instrument, or simulated deadly weapon. I want you guys to see a picture of this man again. This is who has been charged and who I'm reading the document about. Okay, let's get back to the document. My bad. He is a physical. It looks scary. He's a gentle dog. Yeah. Yes. You're right about that. All right. So we kind of read, I'm just making sure I don't want to put any information out there that I don't need to on these documents. So as we see, this is a person that has been charged as of December 4th with her unaliving. That is a man on the screen. Burned alive in her car. Burned alive in her car. Count 4 consists of, let me make sure I share this with you guys. Unlawful authority knowingly did control Mercedes, a means of transportation with the intent to permanently deprive Mercedes of her property. The state further alleges that the offense charged in this count is a dangerous felony because the offense involved, again, the discharge of firearms. So he has been arrested in her death. Burned alive. Is he affiliated with a gang? Good question. Not that I've heard of, but I do think he has connections to the first case, right? I mean, she gets assaulted in 2020. She's going to testify against someone out of Tennessee, and both of the people who attacked her are out of Tennessee and have been extradited. Is it connected? Absolutely. I do absolutely think it was connected. He was arrested, and her parents did sit down and have a conversation about the arrest. So I want to play that conversation that her parents had with
murdering a young woman named Mercedes Vega back in April of 2023, pleads not guilty to all charges. His name is Sencere Hayes.
There you go, not guilty.
Charges, including first-degree murder in the killing of that 22-year-old.
Today was the first time that Vega's parents were in the same room as the alleged killer. And 12 News journalist Bianca Bono was there for the emotional day in court.
State of Arizona versus Hayes.
It's a moment nothing can prepare a parent for.
As soon as I heard them call his name, all I wanted to do was just look him in the face.
But it's a moment Erica and Tom Pillsbury have been waiting 1 year and 8 months for the first time, coming face to face with the man accused of murdering their daughter, Mercedes Vega.
To look at him, seeing his chest moving up and down and knowing he's breathing and my daughter's gone, I had to be quiet, but tears are running down my face. He shouldn't be standing there.
On Wednesday morning, donning an orange jumpsuit and shackles, 22-year-old Sencere Hayes faced a judge for his arraignment, entering not guilty pleas on all charges: kidnapping, armed robbery, car theft, and first-degree murder. The Pillsburys emotional as they sat in the front row of the courtroom, wanting Hayes to see the loved ones of the life he's accused of taking.
It was very hard for me to sit there and not want to reach over the counter and grab him and basically take his life.
Hayes was arrested last month in his home state of Tennessee, extradited back to Arizona, accused of killing 22-year-old Vega in April of 2023. She was last seen in this surveillance footage leaving her Tempe apartment, kidnapped moments later, tortured for hours, then found inside of a burning car on the I-10 freeway an hour west of the valley. Her car found abandoned in Tempe.
My first reaction was how skinny and unassuming he looked and how Mercedes could have taken him out
by herself if it was just him.
The Maricopa County Sheriff's Office doesn't believe Hayes acted alone either. And the motivation for a man from Tennessee to allegedly kill a complete stranger in Arizona doesn't add up. MCSO telling 12 News more arrests are coming.
I'm hoping, and my wife's hoping by the end of the year, that all parties are arrested. I do believe that it's that close.
In the meantime, the Pillsburys are relieved to see the justice system begin to work for one suspect. And now that Hayes has been arraigned, the Maricopa County Attorney's Office must decide if they will seek the death penalty, a conversation the Pillsburys will be a part of.
To us, that's what should happen. But ultimate goal for this whole thing is every single party is arrested.
The County Attorney's Office.
So you hear their family and law enforcement say that there could have possibly been another person and or persons involved in the case. So this happened in April of 2023, and no one was arrested or charged until as of recent this month. It was a hit. They had no relationship. We don't know. We think that maybe the person who assaulted her in 2020 did have a connection with the person that ultimately committed this crime. This is Mercedes. This is her on the screen. It's so sad. She's so beautiful. Lily says, I want to hug her mom. I know. They sent her to shut up. I think so too. I believe they are definitely connected and they know each other. Both people who attacked her are from Tennessee. So we're just going to wait now to see what happens in the court system. So sad. You know, a lot of people want to say that it had something to do with what she was doing for work. I do think that could have played a role. Was it maybe someone from the club she worked at? Are they all related? Maybe, and connected. Possibly. I don't know if there'll be a trial for this yet or if he will plead guilty. But if there's a trial, we're going to definitely be covering it. I'm just glad that her family has gotten something right after a year and a half and them saying that they didn't have a lot of help from law enforcement, which is why they made that Instagram page and the rewards at the beginning. And maybe they're keeping very quiet. Maybe they do know others that are involved. But like you heard her dad and her mom just say that, you know, they hope that the others will be arrested. Do I think there were others involved? Yes, because if you think about it, they drove her car to this location, right? And then someone had to pick that person up because they left her in the car to burn alive. They poured bleach down her throat. I'm assuming they thought they would get rid of evidence. That's my theory. I'm not a professional. I'm not, you know, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not like someone working in this case, but I feel like it's all connected. I do. I really do. I feel like the assault in 2020 and her going to testify against this person plays a role. I think it's a big factor in this case. And, you know, it's so sad that her family has had to deal with this and seek out to the media to get any answers. And I'm glad that they finally got something. And I hope that, you know, the trial, and I hope that she gets justice. I think this is a personal crime. I think it's brutal. And I wanted to cover it, you know, just because he has been charged with this crime as of recent, December 4th. And I'm eager to see what comes of this crime. And she was a very spiritual and intuitive person. And on the screen, I have a quote from her journal entry that her family has shared. And like I said, why are you covering this crime, Millie? And it's because I think people should be aware and more careful. And I think that she deserves complete justice. And I hope that she gets that justice. On the screen, you see a quote from Mercedes that she wrote in her journal. And it says, I am divinely guided and divinely protected. The entirety of my existence is all for the highest good. I am allowing the universe to handle everything for me. I recognize the divine is orchestrating all that happens, even in my most tragic moments. I am divinely led to my higher purpose. The universe has perfect timing. This is what she wrote. Does that break your heart? It breaks my heart. I just, yeah. This journal entry speaks volumes to me. Like, the words she's speaking here is so profound. It literally took my breath away when I read this. And I wanted to share that. I wanted you guys to get a side of who she was. And like I said, I covered it because I want her to get justice. Her family deserves that. She deserves that. It's heartbreaking. She spoke these words. Sarah says, I pray we find out who did this. And she gets justice, right? Whether it was for money, I don't believe it was for money. She knew something, retaliation, maybe someone from the industry that she worked in. There have been other people from her industry and her club that she worked at that have also been attacked. Does that play a role? Maybe. Is it someone maybe that works at her club? I don't know. I thought about that. I did, because it's like, what a coincidence that 3 females from there have been attacked, right? I think that speaks a lot for itself. So again, I want you guys to take this quote from her and just know who she was. And I hope that Mercedes gets justice. She was so beautiful. I hope her family can get some peace at some point. Burning, the medical examiner report says that she was alive when she was burned alive. Like, she was alive when she got bleach poured down her throat and lit on fire. That's brutal. It's personal. So with that being said, I leave you guys with this part of her journal entry. Again, it says, I am divinely guided and divinely protected. The entirety of my existence is all for the highest good. I am allowing the universe to handle everything for me. I recognize the divine is orchestrating all that happens, even in my most tragic moments. I am divinely led to my higher purpose. The universe has perfect timing. I'm heartbroken. I'm heartbroken. I really am. This is one, that, like, I was looking into it and it was hard for me for some reason. They're all hard, right? We all are true crime junkies, and that's why we're all here. But I hope the family gets justice. Yes, Michelle. Absolutely heart-wrenching. Lily says, damn, Emily, I love you, girl. I know. So I wanted to cover it as he was recently charged. He pleaded not guilty, so I'm assuming we're going to see a trial. If not, maybe he'll plead guilty, plea agreement. We know how that works out, right? I'm praying for justice for Mercedes. Thank you for sharing. Yes, if you didn't know about this case, I'm glad that I am here to introduce you to this. We will be following it. Mercedes deserves full justice. I am here for it. Let's support the family. Let's speak out, talk about it, put it out there. She's so beautiful. I can't get over it. And how loving she was. And if you follow the Instagram page that supports her, you see a lot of those videos of her being herself. And take a look. Go look at it on your own. I will link everything down in the description box. We will continue to follow this case. I am so grateful for all of you here willing to listen to this. Now, if you didn't know, now you know. If you knew, now you're caught up. Someone has been charged. And let's just hope that Mercedes and her family gets the justice that she deserves, but I can't get past this journal entry. I just really can't. I really can't. She was golden beautiful. She had a hand on and blessed me. Justice for Mercedes. Thank you, Emery. Yes. And we'll continue to follow this case. Like I said, you know, I hope her family gets justice. And I'm so grateful that you guys are here on my channel watching this and supporting me. I appreciate you guys. It goes unnoticed. I know it's rough. But again, these are, you know, real life things that are happening that we see in true crime. So with that being said, I hope this journal entry of hers is just, you know, I had to screenshot that and put it on my phone. I'm like, if this isn't a divine person speaking, I don't know what is. The fact that, you know, she says, I am allowing the universe to handle everything for me. I recognize the divine is orchestrating all that happens, even in my most tragic moments. It's terrifying. And it's so sad. Love you too, Lily. And I appreciate you guys all for being here. I hope you guys enjoyed this live. We'll continue to follow this. And like I said, I hope that Mercedes and her family finally get the justice they deserve. Again, this is a person that has been charged on the left, Sencere Hayes. And I hope that they find the others involved, because like I said, if someone drove her out to that location in one car, how did he just walk away? No, maybe he had someone helping, right, to pick him up. It was far out, 60 miles from her apartment complex. So it's not like homie just ran off or walked away. I do truly believe he had someone pick him up. And I do truly believe that perhaps others were involved. But his eyes are dead. There's no soul. Exactly. Thank you, Stella. I appreciate you. And I love you for being here. Thank you so much. You've always been a great support of my channel. All of you have. And I appreciate that. It doesn't go unnoticed. And like I said, we'll continue to cover this case and keep Mercedes in your mind. And I hope that her family gets the justice. So thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys. And I love you guys. Make sure you hit that like button. I know that song gets me in my feelings. I'll link everything down below. Documents, links, videos. You already know. I give credit to everyone. Please hit that like button on your way out. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for being here. We'll continue to follow her case. And like I said, I hope she gets true justice. It really does. As I research this case, I'm like, this is so her. Yes, thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys. I'll come back later tonight. I want to do a 𝗟E:E After Dark tonight. Are you guys ready? Are you ready? Buckle up if I do a 𝗟E:E After Dark, because you already know. But anyways, I appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. I will be back. I know I've been absent, like I said, the last 3 days. I've just been so busy. I've been blessed with a great opportunity in my personal life. I'm continuously blessed, and I am blessed for having you guys here, supporting my channel. Shout out to my mods, my friends. My mods aren't just mods. They're my friends and viewers, replayers, please. I appreciate you guys. Just know that. And I love you guys, and thank you for supporting my channel. And I will see you guys on the next one.
you.